Hello and welcome to another Rust Locker video. Today on Combo Mods I'm going to be replacing the tired, worn out stock lights in the rear loading bay with some really super bright LED strip lights. Okay, so this is what you're going to need. I bought this set of LED lights off of eBay, but you can also get them on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. This particular set comes with 10 bars of 3 LEDs in a bright white colour. They're all linked together in one run, but you can snip them and place them however you like. It did come with some extra wiring. You could probably just install these set up so that they come on when the van doors open, but for me I wanted to have a switch so that I could turn them on, turn them off. That way I know that I'm not going to be running the battery down by having the door open ajar and forgetting about it. So I bought a switch as well separately, just a couple of quid for a switch. It was a basic sort of 2-position switch, off and on. Comes with 2 pins on the back. It also came with a little weather protection rubber to go over it once it's installed, just to keep any sort of moisture out. Not that you probably need it on the inside of a van, but I thought just in case. Okay, so what I'm going to do here on the bench is I'm going to wire these up with the switch using just a 9-volt battery, just to show you how the wiring goes, and then we can go out to the van, then decide where to mount these, extend them as need be with the wire them up to a power source with a switch, and then we'll be good to go. So what I'll do is I'll show you how it should run. Okay, so this is how it should go. Basically, imagine this is your power source coming from the van. You've got positive, which is red, and a negative, which is black. You want to connect the negative wire to the negative wire of the LEDs, which in this case is just the plain white wire. The positive from the power source will go to the bottom pin on your switch, and then the top pin on the switch will go to the positive on the LEDs, which in this case has got a red stripe down it. Turn the switch on and we have lights. Turn the switch off and we don't have lights. Okay, so I'm going to go out to the van now. I'm going to mount these LEDs somewhere inside the back, and then I'm going to find the power source from the standard stock lights, take some wires off of there into this switch, mount the switch, and then we're going to have some light in the back. Okay, so I'm in the back of the van. First thing you're going to want to do is find where your standard lights are, because that's going to have the power leads that you can come off of to run your LEDs. So for me, in the back of this van, which is a Vauxhall combo obviously, I've got one of these either side. If you take off the reflectors, you'll find there's a terminal with a little bulb in there, and that is where we're going to take power from to run the LED lights. Now, I've actually bought 2 sets of these, so that would be 20 LED bars in total. I've actually gone ahead and I've fitted one set of 10 to one side of the van, and I think that'll be enough, but I'm going to run both anyway and have them on 2 different switches. So I'll show you what I mean, what I've done so far. Basically, I've removed this reflector here, and behind there is a little spade connector which held a bulb in between it. So I basically soldered on 2 wires, a positive and a negative. Positive is the red one, I believe, but you can always just connect them up to your LEDs just to make sure that they're the right way around. So what I've done on the other side, as you can see here, I've taken the 2 wires and extended them slightly with a bit of my wiring here. I've run the new wire up through the holes in the van here to come out at the top. I've done one strip of 5 along here, and then I've done the other strip of 5 along here. So it goes from the power source there, up through here, into this strip. Then I've extended the wire here using my wiring gone kind of through these gaps out of here and into these 5. Now the ends here were sort of bare ends, so I've just taped these up just to make sure that it doesn't short out against the metal of the roof. Let me show you what I've done with the actual switch. I took out this reflector, I cut a square in it, and I fitted the switch inside the square that I cut out. So now when this all goes back in, that's going to look quite neat on the bodywork there with a little switch. So as you can see, this is one set of 10, and that is quite bright. It actually lights up the whole van. So definitely one strip of these, 10 of those, will light up the inside of a combo van. It's a bit better for me because what I've done is I've put this reflective insulating stuff on all the roof panels, just to keep the warmth in over the winter, so the lights actually reflect off of that, which sort of helps it out. What I'm going to do though, I am going to use this other strip because I've got a side door in this van, and what I want to do is to be able to have lights either from the side door or from the rear. So I've sorted this out for the rear, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount these somewhere else and then have a switch maybe mounted in here, so that when I open the side door I can turn that on and have lights from that side. If I open the back door, then I can turn this on and have lights from this side. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to fit these somewhere and then wire them up to this side here. Okay, so the LED strips come with like this 3M double-sided sellotape stuff on the back. They do also have little holes where you can drill and screw in a little self-tapper screw if the tape isn't going to hold it. Judging by what I've done up here already, this tape is actually pretty good. It does hold very well. Obviously you have to make sure it's a clean and dry and grease-proof surface, so I'm going to use some rubbing alcohol to clean the area that I'm going to mount these to, and then stick them down. Okay, I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to have, similar to what I've done up there, I'm going to have 5 bars across here, extend the wire in, run it round through this side, and then have 5 on the other side of this top roof bar, so we're sort of getting an illumination coming down into this zone here. So first things first, give everything a good rub down with some alcohol or soapy water, I suppose you could use, but I like to use isopropyl alcohol. It's fairly cheap, it's about $5 for a bottle like this, lasts you quite a while, and this really does get all the grease and grime off of things if you're going to stick stuff down. See what I mean? Tape will not stick to that, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so quick recap. This wire here is going to go to the switch. It's going to come along down these LEDs. I've extended the wire through there to meet up with this strip of LEDs, which is going to be along here. And then these LEDs will terminate here. So remember to tape up this ends because you don't really want them shorting together. So now I'm going to have to find a suitable place to mount the switch and then run a wire from the stock headlight or stock interior light down to the switch. Okay, so the switches have like a little lip around them, which is what's going to hold it in place. So you want to draw around the smallest rectangle for your hole. Now what I'd do is I'd make this hole slightly thinner than it needs to be, or slightly smaller, and then you can always make it a little bit bigger, but if it's too big then the switch is just going to fall straight through. So I'm going to go on the side of caution and make it slightly smaller than I think it needs to be. Okay, so now that we've got the switch mounted, obviously you can't get to the back of this to wire it up, so you want to take the switch back out again and then thread your wire through and out of the hole, so then you can wire the switch up easier. So now you want to take your spade connectors here for your bulb, solder on your extension wire, which I've done here, then run this extension wire up through the holes in your van to meet up with the switch over there. Right, so this is running to the stock bulbs, this is running to your new LEDs. Now you just want to connect up the switch like I showed you at the start of the video. So as if you remember from the start of the video, it goes positive from your stock lights, go into the off point on the off pin on the switch, positive to the LEDs come off of the on pin on the switch, and then you connect your negatives up together. So the negative from the power goes to the negative of the LEDs. It's really just the positive connection that you want to interrupt with the switch. So if I click it on, right, so now that I know that everything works, I need to solder all these connections up, tape them up, and then it's just a case of feeding these wires in, putting the switch back in that hole, and then neatening everything up. Now if you do accidentally end up shorting out your positives and your negatives whilst it's connected, you probably will just blow the fuse in the fuse box that correspond to your interior lights, so keep an eye out for that. If all of a sudden things don't work anymore, go and check your mini fuses under the bonnet, and you probably have blown a 5 amp I think it is fuse, which you'll need to replace. My advice is A, don't short anything together, or B, go and take the fuse out. Obviously none of the interior lights will work, but you won't blow your fuse, or have spare fuses like I have. But anyway, obviously the best option is to not short anything out together and just be very careful. So insulate tape these up so that they don't touch together, and then fit the switch back. Okay, so just going to put this reflector back in there. What we've done is we've set up one switch there which controls 10 LEDs for this central section fit a switch in over there which controls 10 LEDs for the front section, so whichever door I come into the van I've got a light and I can illuminate the whole thing. Right, just to give you an idea of how bright they are, the van doors are almost closed and I'll turn one switch on and the second switch, pretty much daylight in here, you couldn't get much brighter. So I'm very happy with that. Hope that you have enjoyed this and that you're going to find this helpful to do mods onto your van. If you've got a Vauxhall combo, you know how shit the stock lights are, so this is a massive improvement. Hope you're going to catch me on the next one. Remember to subscribe, comment if you've got any questions, and hopefully you'll like the video.